G'day, Ziggy D here, and welcome to a Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls Legendary Crafting Guide. In this video, I'm going to be going over the craftable legendary Reaper's Wraps. So, in Reaper of Souls, the expansion pack added these craftable legendaries. There's always been some craftable legendaries, but the whole concept of these crafting legendaries is much more interesting now. It's much more in-depth, and the legendaries you actually get can be pretty damn good. So a lot of them are just kind of stepping stones or like just better stats than rares and sort of meant to be a bit of a, you know, something you have until you can find yourself a better legendary. But Reaper's Wraps is one that is a good example of a very strong endgame legendary and one that you can potentially use from now until the end of time if it manages to roll well. So let's go take a look at it. This pair of braces is probably the first craftable legendary you're going to encounter in Reaper of Souls because the legendary plan for it is actually a guaranteed drop off Malthael as long as you meet some sort of criteria, which I'll go through shortly. Now, the legendary itself features 5 random magic properties, so it can get up to 6 properties when you include the legendary stat, and that ends up being pretty good. You can get your 4 primary properties. As you can see, the one that I rolled here earlier is fire damage, deals 20% more damage, which is actually very powerful. 459 dex, some crit chance, and life per hit, as well as the secondary affix being the legendary affix and arcane resist. So I did not too bad on this one, not too bad. I kind of would have preferred maybe the life on hit to be vitality or something like that, but it's not too bad, it's not too bad. So, but what really sets this apart, like the stats are a bit higher than what you can get on a rare, and they're as high as other legendary braces that you can get. But what really sets it apart is that legendary proc. Health globes restore 28% of your primary resource. Now this can roll anywhere between 25 and 30%, as you can see on the left side icon there. And what this does is, it kind of works, if you're familiar with the Demon Hunter, exactly like the passive Blood Vengeance. So when you pick up a health globe, you gain a certain amount of your primary stat back. However, this works for all classes. So for the Demon Hunter, it's a fantastic way to replace Blood Vengeance and use another passive instead. Like instead of using Blood Vengeance, I can instead use Archery and simply get some more damage. Or if you like another class, like let's say a Witch Doctor, whenever you pick up a health globe, which depending on your Witch Doctor spec you might be doing very, very often, you can restore up to 30% of your primary resource, in that case being mana. So this can actually be really, really insane if you're like a high main resource spending sort of build on your character, and if you're picking up a lot of health globes, maybe you've got a lot of pickup radius, then you can get an insane amount of resource to continue spending that, continue spamming your attack skills, and get out a lot of damage. So Reaper's Wraps, I think, is actually incredible. Quite good for the Demon Hunter. I expect for the Witch Doctor especially, it's going to be incredibly powerful. So this is probably one you're going to want to craft. So, let's actually take a look at how you go about crafting this. We did a lot of research today on stream, and I'll start breaking it down. So let's switch on over, and I'll talk about the finding the actual plan first up. Okay, so I mentioned that Reaper's Wraps is probably one of the first craftable legendaries you'll really encounter and want to craft, and that's because the plan actually drops from Malthael in the campaign. It's actually a guaranteed drop as well, so chances are you already have the recipe and that's why you're here. But for those of you guys who haven't found the recipe yet, you may have done one of a few things that stopped you from getting it. So the plan, as I mentioned, is guaranteed as a drop from Malthael as long as you're playing in the campaign, you're above level 61 or higher, so you have to be into the expansion levels essentially, and then you're good to go. You can do it on any difficulty. You can be normal, master, torment. I recommend just doing it on normal just if you want to get it quickly, but as long as you're in the campaign and you're level 61 or higher, you should be able to get the plan. However, if you do the Malthael kill in the campaign, you don't get it and you're over level 61, then the reason being is probably that you haven't kind of done your quests correctly. There's some weird stuff that happens with quests. If that is the case, what you need to do is hit that quest reset button and then run through the whole quest. Like, you know, you're going to have to run through the campaign again, maybe make a speed running build. I actually have a Demon Hunter speed running build on my channel that you can check out if you're playing a Demon Hunter, and speed run through that campaign, get to Malthael, then do the kill, then you'll get the plan and you'll be good to go. So next up you have the material Reaper's Fear. Now this also drops from Malthael, however it's not a guaranteed drop. I did get pretty lucky myself and actually got it alongside the plan when I killed Malthael for the first time, but that's not going to happen for everyone. So again, this only drops from Malthael. I haven't seen any instances of dropping anything else besides Malthael, so you're going to want to farm Malthael. Now, the other sort of things that you need to keep in mind is that it works on any difficulty, so you might as well do it on normal if you're trying to farm this. You're going to be able to still get, some good legendaries and loot and stuff for yourself while you're farming Malthael, but you're going to be able to do it as quickly as possible and get that legendary crafting recipe, the Reaper's Fear, as quickly as possible. Now, you do, again, need to be level 61 or over, which you should already be if you've gotten the plan. And do keep in mind that at the time of making this video, the drop rate is currently bugged. It's dropping way too infrequently, and hopefully, maybe by the time you're watching this video, that'll be fixed by Blizzard. It is on Blizzard's to-do list to fix that, so hopefully that's not an issue in the future. But currently, very hard to get. You need to farm Malthael a lot before you're going to get it. So, the way I suggest farming Malthael is to create a campaign, get to the Malthael kill, and then when you get to the portal just before the fight, you'll actually notice you'll get a checkpoint appearing on screen. So what you want to do is you want to maintain that checkpoint to give yourself the fastest time, because to run through that zone prior to Malthael takes a very long time. So what you want to do is get into the fight, kill Malthael, just set yourself up with a boss killing spec, whatever skills you can do for burst damage, and just kill him as quickly as possible. Normal should only take like 20-30 seconds or something like that. And then as soon as he's dying, pick up any loot that you want to pick up, but do it very quickly, teleport back to town and leave the game before he finishes dying. He'll have this big death animation where he'll make a big fuss, but as long as you leave the game before that finishes, you'll maintain your checkpoint. If you're a bit too slow, you'll get a new checkpoint and you'll have to run that zone again, so do it as quickly as possible. Like today I got distracted when a legendary dropped and I ended up losing the checkpoint and had to run the entire zone again, so don't do that. Don't do that. Leave that game, start it again. You can simply jump back in. You'll be right before the portal again. You can just jump straight away into the Malthael fight. I kind of feel like Blizzard will eventually patch this away because it seems like a too easy way to farm the boss over and over again. But for now, take advantage of that. Otherwise, if it's been patched, you're just going to have to run that zone over and over again to get the Malthael. Hopefully, they at least fix the drop rate when they fix that portal as well. So the next part of the recipe is, this is kind of an interesting addition to Reaper of Souls. You actually need to get a white version of the base item that the legendary is based on. In the instances of Reaper's Wraps, it is the Ascended Braces white item. So the best way to do this is to find a zone with a lot of Armorer's racks and to raid them for those braces. But I've done the legwork for you and found probably the best zone in the game to do this. We're going to be going to Act 5, so West March. Then we're going to be going to the Battlefields of Eternity. So once we go in here, we're simply going to set ourselves up with whatever fastest running spec you can. So I'm going to go Tactical Advantage, Vault with Tumble, and I'll also grab Preparation with Backup Plan, so I can run around here as fast as possible. Now, you're going to want to do this on normal again, since you don't really need to be fighting the monsters in here. What we're going to do is just start vaulting around. Now, in my testing, I got between, like 12 to 15 or so Armorer's racks per run in this zone, so it's definitely really good. We tried a few other different things. Here you go, here's one Decaying Armor Mount. We've got some Ascended Pauldrons. Now, I recommend that you keep one of each of these because you may want to do other crafting recipes in the future that use the same base things. So I'm just going to simply run through this zone, starting with the edges, running around each of these. There we go, there's a second one there. Archon Sash, I need one of those, so now I've filled out that next recipe. And start collecting up these guys. And if you're lucky, hopefully you'll pretty quickly get your Ascended Braces as well. Now, as you're running through this zone, you'll also notice that there'll be some little dungeons that you can kind of go down into as well. There's a random boss spawning. It looks like it's my bounty. Keep running through here, keeping an eye out for those. You'll notice that there's a bunch of other stuff you can break, but what you really want is just those armor scrap piles there. So just going to keep running through here. There's another Decaying Armor there. We've got some Ascended Folds. Now, keep in mind that you do need just the plain Ascended Braces. What happens if you get either like inferior ones, broken ones, or even superior ones? They won't work with the recipe. So you really need to go for just the basic one. So if you get some superior ones, that's actually a bad thing. But keep running through here. Search each one of those. I like to stick to the outside first, then duck into the center. You'll get about 12 on the outside zones here. However, you also want to jump into these places here. Hideout of the Lost Legion. In this one here, we should find another Armorer's rack in here somewhere. Looks like there's Decaying Armor up there. There's usually one or two in these. There's one, Ascended Folds. There's a second one, Ascended Crown. And you can run through and grab all these. There's the third one in here as well, so it looks like I've done pretty well in this one. There's a fourth and a fifth. Wow, heaps. So there's a crude one. This won't work for any recipes. So as you can see, very easy way to get these. And if you want to farm some mobs while you're here and do a lot of side quests, it's actually a pretty good zone to farm as well. So once you've got your Reaper's Fear from Malthael, your Ascended Braces from the Battlefields of Eternity, all you then need to do is make sure you have a decent amount of Arcane Dust. You can get this just by picking up and salvaging blue items. Decent amount. You only need 7. You need quite a few of these. You need like 120. A couple Veiled Crystals from salvaging rares, and the hardest one out of those probably Forgotten Souls. The other one is Death's Breath. You get these just from killing rare packs. You'll get one, approximately half the time, maybe quarter of the time I seem to find them drop. But you can just collect those up over time as well. Forgotten Souls are probably the hardest one. You get those by either salvaging other legendaries, or from boss kills in rifts, or from Heraldric caches as a random drop themselves. So the best way though is probably just to find some extra legendaries and salvage those over time to craft your new Ascended Braces, your new Reaper's Wraps. So good luck with the rolls. Hopefully you guys enjoy your Reaper's Wraps and they slot in nicely into your build and help you get a lot of extra resource. I know I've been enjoying mine. That's it for now. I'm Ziggy D, and thanks for watching.